Always when it comes to training the reining horses, we talk a lot about collection. And I just want to run through real quick what I think collection is and why collection is good and what the result from the collection is. Collection, I think, is for my horses in my program. I love a lot of collection. Collection and softness goes hand in hand. And with the collection, I mean a horse that works correctly with their hind end, with their back, and with their front end. And when we talk about collection, what we want their back to be round and lifted, and we want their shoulders to be up and loose, and we want their hindquarters to drive from behind. The big question is, why do we want that? Well, it's just kind of the same like an elite gymnast. It's about flexibility. And the collection is about the horse being in the ideal position to perform the maneuvers in the best way they possibly can. You know, a horse that's lifting in the back, lifting in the shoulders, and really driving good from behind, for a reining horse, they're gonna stop really well if they have the talent to stop. They might be a good stopper without collection, but if you put the collection and all the softness in there, like in a gymnast, then they'll be really, really good, and they can do it to the best of their ability because they have all the flexibility and they have all the muscles working in unison to do the maneuvers as good as possible. So how do we get collection, and how do we talk? You hear a lot of talk about you want the horse to work with the back lifted and the back rounded. And the collection part is actually comes from softness. When a horse can give to the bit like this and stay soft. Soft was he's yielded to when I picked up on the rein. When the horse can do that going forward, like a collection part is when I can pick up on my horse and drive my horse up in the bit. Now I feel like his back is really far up, his shoulders is really far up, and he's very soft in my hand. I don't have to pull on him very hard at all. When I do that, that means he's collected. And in the beginning, when we teach a horse collection, we're going to pull on him quite a bit on the phases, but also driving a lot with the legs. You see, I'm driving every stride as I pick up on him here, and he rounds up. But by the token, the second he's good, I need him to be released and to be rewarded for being that good. Now he is kind of at a walk here, really lifting his back and lifting his shoulders up real well. But how do you get that back to lift in the very beginning? And I think that the way the horse has to start lifting his back is with us having a lot of hip control on him. When I walk my horse forward and I want to push my hip over to the left, here, in order for the horse to be able to push the hip over to the left off of my right leg, he has to lift his back and round his back, lift the shoulders and be soft in my hand. If the horse is not lifting its back, he won't even move off my leg. So moving the hip and lifting the back, I think, go hand in hand. So the early stages when we teach our young horses, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, collection, and want to teach them how to lift their back, we're going to teach them with a lot of hip control and side passing. You know, the very first step of teaching the horse to just move off your left leg is to teach him to side pass straight off like this. When he side passes off, I take my leg off, and then I push again, take my leg off. And again, I think in order for the horse to do this, at some degree, he really has to lift his and round his back up. Otherwise, he won't do it. So there I just add on by keeping the shoulders and the head straight and really pushing the hip over to the right. In order for the horse to do this, he's got to lift his back up and round up in order to do that. How is that going to help me to get a willfully guided reining horse? Well, that's going to help me to get a very smooth lope and to be able to control that lope. If a horse is this willing in the mouth and this willing rounding his back up, moving his hip over, he's going to be willing doing other maneuvers too. So the willfully guided part, the softness and the collection, to me, just go hand in hand. I can't live without one or the other. In order for me to get my horse really willfully guided, I want him to be able to accept my leg where I can't push his hip over, because when I do, he'll obey and he'll do it right away. And when he obeys and do it right away, I also have a horse that lifts his back. So what comes first doesn't really matter. It's the whole picture. It's the whole unison, the horse and rider working in unison that's very important. For example, If we take a simple part as a lead departure, when I walk forward in reining pattern, I'm going to have a lead departure. If I'm going to lope off to the left, I'll put my right leg on, push the hip over a little bit to the left, so we make sure we come off in the left lead. When I do this, my horse accepts the leg, accepts the hand, he looks really willfully guided. So then I can do it, and the second I lope off, we're loping off, he stays really good and quiet, loping around really good on a loose rein. And now I'm considering this horse loping around with its back up, with its shoulders up, driving good from behind. And how can I double check that I have good collection and that my horse traveling with its back up while loping? Well, simply I just take a hold of his face, put my outside leg on that hip to drive him up in the bit, and I see he pushes his hip to the inside, rounds his back up, stays soft in my hand with the shoulder up. And then I turn him loose again. And I can control him. I drive every stride. The second I sit back, he comes back to the walk. Now you see here when I lope around, he gets really level in his top line with his head and neck. I think a huge misconception on these reining horses, we always talk about I want to have him low-headed. Well, that's not what I'm after at all. I want to have control. All this collection, all that I want to have the shoulders up and that he's moving his hip softly, I want to have control. I want to have a willfully guided horse. It is just that the product after having the horse broke loose and soft all through his body, where he drives good from behind, where he moves his hip over, where he's really soft in my hand, it's going to be a horse that's very relaxed. You know, everything is broke loose, all the muscles are relaxed in his body. So when I put my outside leg on him here, walk forward, he's super relaxed, has his back up, he's rounded. So when I lope off, and I have him on a loose rein, well, he's just simply very comfortable. This horse is an extremely good athlete also, so he's going to do it easier than other horses. There's going to be horses that have a harder time doing this, and horses that have easier time doing that, but I always try to look for the horse that's very athletic and is a good mover like this horse. So that's something that I really wanted to touch on, is the misconception that we're after the low head. The low head is not what we're after. We're after softness and the collection, and for the horse to be willfully guided. I've even seen it in dressage horses. In dressage horse competitions, they start turning their horse loose at the extended trot. Or if you ever watch a dressage horse while they're done working them and at the upright collection, they have their heads, when they're collect, they hold on to them horses more so than we do with our reining horses. You're always going to see the dressage horses lower their head and neck and just be relaxed and content with their work. We too pull on our horses to get that collection that dressage horses do. When we do, we're going to ride with the two hands. You know, in the beginning when I teach my horse collection and want him to be soft in the circle, I'm going to be hanging on to that horse. I'm going to drive in with my leg, pushing with my leg to get that collection. Now I think he's really soft in my hand and he's moving forward good, and I turn him loose. But the second I turn him loose, he's just going to lower his head and neck and lope around relaxed. This horse, for example, when I'm riding here, he's just really relaxed, really comfortable with the work. That's because I put 2 or 3 years into training this horse on the collection, on the softness part. So the only thing he knows is to be soft, to yield to my leg gates and stuff like that. And therefore, when he works now, he's real comfortable, he's real confident, and he knows his work. What is important when we work on collection is we always have to give a big reward. As soon as our horse are good, soft in our hands, soft towards our leg, we need to release pressure to show them that is a safe zone. They did good work, and they find the position where they want to be in.